A beautiful lineup of cars are waiting for drivers to pick them and lead them to the championship. Welcome everyone to the draft show of the rFactor 2 GT Pro Series powered by Traction.gg Season 4. And as I said, it's time for the draft and time for everyone to pick the right car and the right tools to get that done for next season. So obviously, it's like last time, I won't do that all on my own because that will be quite boring for you guys, and I need way more expertise to go through all the picks that we get. So we got an entire group, team, or let's say bunch of guys that thought Monday evening is just the right moment to talk about why a specific car is the wrong choice and why is it the right choice. So let me introduce to you the team around that we have today. Obviously, from Season 3, you know his name from there on. That is Aiden Millward that will be here tonight. We got new faces as well. This is a new season, so time to bring on new people. We got Ivan O'Leary and Paul Buckley joining us tonight, bringing you all the action around the GT Pro series. The GT Pro draft is similar, let's say, to the Season 3 draft, although it's not the same. First of all, we switched away from GT3 cars and are now with the GTE cars. That's why you see only 6 different choices instead of the 10 we had last time. But we still have the 30 best drivers from all around the globe that are part of this Prime GT series. They can choose from these 6 cars. And also different to last time, they can have these cars without any weight as long as you're among the first 5 to pick them. As soon as you're number 6, then you get 10 kilograms as a penalty weight for the entire season. If you, after the 6th pick, so you think like, oh, never mind the weight, I still want this car, you get 20 kilograms on that car for the entire season. Which means that probably will lead us to a bigger spread and a lot of people looking for a secondary or even a third choice tonight, just in case their cars could be picked or have a lot of weight on them. When it comes to drivers, you should be familiar with the 30 that will be here tonight for the draft, as these are exactly, not exactly the 30 from last season, as obviously a few were demoted and a few were promoted, but you either saw them in relegation before or you saw them dominating in the rFactor 2 GT Challenge series, and now they're with the pros among those top 30 to pick a car tonight. I would say let's bring on everyone and let's bring on the team and see who's actually in for the pick, as well as in for all the expertise. And there we go, all of them around. That's quite a big group. I hope, guys, you're absolutely ready. Aiden, that's your return after Season 3. How do you feel? Do you think your predictions this time are better than last time?
Well, I've been a prepared boy this season and made a little sheet with loads of predictions on it that I've been writing in as I've been going along, and I've actually only filled in probably about a quarter of them because I've got no clue as to where some of these people are going to go. Are they going to take a car that's liked and take the weight, or are they going to go, no, I will take the bad car, so to speak, and run that instead? So I don't even know what my own team has picked at this point. I'm just been going through and just guessing at this point. There's been drivers driving the GTEs in other leagues like the Virtual Endurance Championship, so I've gone, well, maybe they'll take that car because that's the car they use, but I just don't know at this point, and that's what makes these draft shows interesting, because we did it last year as well with the GT3s, and we were like, oh, we think he's going to pick that car. Why has he picked that one? Oh, okay, yeah, so it's great to see. The last season's draft show went really well and got everybody talking, and I hope this one is more of the same.
Yeah, we'll make it really quick as we soon get our first pick. So, Ewan, welcome to the party. I hope you're prepared and up for some action.
Yeah, I'm absolutely up for it. Very much looking forward to joining the team for Season 4 of the Pro Series. I'll be on the Challenge Series, obviously, with Paul, who we'll talk to him out as well. But yeah, very much looking forward to the season. We've never seen this Pro draft situation with the GTE cars. So yeah, it's time to find out what that's going to bring for us this time around.
We know at least what it brings Mazito via of Sancho Simsport, as he is the first pick. It's in reversed order from the previous results of Season 3, and he picks the Aston Martin GTE. I will push this one to Aiden, because he's a Sancho guy. Aiden said exactly what Zito was aiming for.
It's what I predicted. So I don't know if they're going to all pick Astons, or maybe we've got Ibrahim Khan, who's also a Sancho driver, Matt Richards, the champion coming up from GT Challenge, and obviously Jan van der Heide, who won it last season as well, with Sancho being the only team thus far to win the Challenge and Pro in the same like season, as it were. So I don't know if they're going to split the cars. I don't know if they're all going to be running the same car, and it might be the same across some of these other teams as well. You can see as every person picks their car, they'll come up onto the screen here, and it says like free pick next to the Aston Martin, which basically means that he doesn't have any weight on it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when we get down to sort of 20 onwards with Kasper Stoltz, Jonas Ravio, down to Alex Siebel, Desjon, and Jan van der Heide. It's going to be really good to see what they'll do. Will they take a less favoured car with no weight or a favoured car with weight? It's nobody knows at this point.
Yeah, there are no radicals to pick this time. But Paul, since we didn't have you saying anything just yet, what do you think? Do you think the Senja guys will now try to pick the Aston Martin GTE all around to be able to only provide one setup for the season?
Yeah, I think I've got that as most of my predictions. Like Aiden, I'm a prepared boy. I've got sheets and sheets of things ready, and yeah, wait and see. I think see whether they do choose the Aston in the end. I think I've got most of them in the Aston, as well as a couple of others. So I reckon Aston might have a bit of weight towards the end of the draft as well.
Let's see. Plessy Martono is the next one, and he chooses a BMW M8 GTE, probably a car that we saw or predicting to be in the hands of Redline, for example, right? Teams that are directly in touch with BMW, right?
Well, because Plessy Martono, he was sort of the dark horse of GT Challenge last season. He won at Imola in a Bentley, so I don't know if he's partial to these aircraft carrier sized cars. So he's picked the biggest boy available. You can see the BMW on the sort of promotional shot that's just come up on your screen. So yeah, that's I'd actually got him in the C7R for that one, but he's picked the BMW. So already I'm sort of 50-50 on my predictions.
I mean, we have to say though, the BMW at least is front engine rear-wheel drive, right? A Porsche would be a completely different choice, or even a C8R.
Yeah, C8R mid-engine. The rest all front engine. I think the Ferrari might be front or mid-engine. I can't remember. It's not really a car I've done a lot in. And then obviously you've got the Porsche, which is a lot of engineers would say is wrong, being rear engine. You either have front or mid-engine and then wrong. So we've got that. That's a surprise. So next up will be in about 30 seconds will be Louis-Philippe Capren. So HM Engineering. What will he pick as he's taken the auto promotion from the last GT Challenge season?
I'm just looking right now if there is a... Oh no, there isn't a second HM Engineering driver in here anymore because he changed teams.
Luca.
Yeah, Luca D'Amelio, who's now BHK Esports by TX3. So not a good pick there. But Ewan, give me a prediction before the next 2 seconds.
Corvette, maybe one of them, maybe the new one, maybe not the new one actually, because it's not very good. But we'll see if I'm right or not. Probably not. Let's see. Oh no, it's a BMW. There you go. But yeah, I have no idea, to be honest. Most of these, as I mentioned, absolutely not a clue. But that's what we're here for, isn't it? Really, a bit of unpredictability. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, Capren is one I'm looking forward to seeing in this season. Actually, I've seen him driving open wheel quite a lot actually, but never really in kind of GT cars or any kind of other cars really. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he does. I hope he can show a good account of himself, let's say.
Now that we have two BMWs already, I'm currently looking for... If it's still the case that Team Redline is picking BMWs, then Kevin Siggy might even run into white, although we did not really consider that previously to have BMWs picked in the very first row. Jerry Toman is next for Varga Sim Racing, and in the same row, his teammate Chinchik, who has his GT Pro debut on the upcoming weeks, is also picking, so they could go for the same car.
Well, they both ran 650s in GT Challenge last season, and they've obviously not got access to those McLarens this year. Well, I say this season. So I've no clue what they're going to take. Actually, the next prediction I've got is Marocek for Burst, which is after Jiri Toman. So I don't know if Paul's got any thoughts of what's going to happen if you can pluck a car out of thin air for them, or if and maybe get a 1 in 6 chance of getting it right, or if you've actually written something down for them on your sheet.
No, I think especially these early picks, I don't really have much in the way of predictions. It's all very much unknown to me. I reckon we'll see the C7 come out next pick. That's going to be my bold, complete stab in the dark, 1 in 6 chance.
Then I will go for BMW, making it 3 in a row. Aiden, what about you?
Ferrari.
Wait. Ferrari. All right, Ewan?
Porsche.
Oh, we
Please
made
be
it
right.
in time.
We might all be
See.
wrong. Oh, we're all wrong.
Jerry Tillman picking the Aston Martin GTE. Beautiful car, by the way. Absolutely. I remember the times back then when at Studio 307 when we licensed this car in and built it. Loved it from the get-go. Such a beautiful looking piece of art, basically. But yeah, that's also the second pick on that car. Means we have another 3 available. And then so do we on the BMW.
Yes, I'm looking down there. Matt Richards for an Aston, maybe. Jonas Raviov I've got for an Aston. Jan van der Heijden I've got for an Aston, but keeping in with the Zancho rocket theme. So some drivers may have to change to their second choice, maybe even their third choice at this point. But you were saying about the BMWs. Obviously, we've got Redline with Kevin Siggy. He had the heaviest BMW last season with the M6, but you've also got the Williams guys like Petr Brliak and Nikodem Biznevsky and those sorts of drivers who also might run into that trap as well. So, yeah, being contractually obliged to take that car. So we've got those to look forward to later on. And we're only 5 drivers in, and we're already only like 2 or 3 for 6 out of our predictions at the minute. So everything's going well so far. That just shows how much we know.
Well, what did Moronchek drive in the first season? He was part of Pro in the very first season, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, there we go. So what did you drive in GT3 first season?
Callaway, wasn't it, when it was the Callaway Cup?
No, that was Callaway. Callaway season was season 2.
I can't remember. This is where we need Lewis with his Wikipedia.
Library. Lewis the library.
GT Challenge Wikipedia.
Jimmy thinks it's going to be the Corvette C7, by the way. He's just messaged me. I thought you should know that, but we'll wait and see if he's right. Here we go. Oh, he is. There we go.
Moronchek
Of course he is, because he's talking to me, but still.
But that means they go for a Corvette with the engine in the front instead of the one with the engine in the back, as the new C8R is quite different in terms of driving style and sound, actually. It's a completely different engine to the new one. I love the old one, I have to say. I think it sounds nice. It's just, if you're coming from something like a Porsche, which is always high revving, it's so weird in the beginning to shift because you kind of feel like driving a diesel.
Yeah, they're all very different cars. I think that's what it makes it so interesting. But yeah, I'm kind of interested to see that the Corvette C8, the new one, is not really fancied by most people. It seems to be something that you don't really want, and we'll certainly talk about this a little bit later on when we get down the list. But you know, some of these cars might be forced into picking it when they don't want to, and definitely if it begins to get some weight on it, then it's definitely not going to be picked. So yeah, I'm kind of interested to see that. I would have thought a new car people would fancy it, but apparently not. C7 seems to be still very, very solid. And Mochek's chosen it. You'd imagine his Burst teammates might try as well, but they're a long way down the list. They might have to decide between weight and car again.
By the way, obviously Traction GG is once again very busy in the chat and putting up new votes. This time it's which is the best Corvette, and I have to say, while I love the C7, especially as a road car, I dislike the C8 as a road car, but adore it in terms of like visually, the race car. I think it's a really, really cool looking race car. Now, far away from how it drives or if you might win with it.
I haven't driven either of them, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But I do like the look of the new C8 when it's all done up and liveried up. I think the issue that these drivers have got is that it's not very good in a straight line, which I think the first race is at Monza, so that's not going to be fun. But here is the next pick, Marcel Chinchik for Varga. He's also taken an Aston, so it looks like the Aston is going to be the popular choice this season.
Kind of feels like the first draft all over again, where all of a sudden the car was popular that we never really had in the book, so to say. For Varga Sim Racing with the second Aston Martin GTE, if I saw that correctly, because his teammate Moronchek, not Moronchek, he's Burst, Yuri Tillman picked the Aston Martin as well. Yes, he did. So they actually go on the route maybe to have at least these two on the same. Are there any more Varga Sim Racing drivers? No, they only have these two. So at least they only have to build one setup.
Yeah, I guess that's the advantage of having them so early on. It's mean that they've got their car without weight. But I think, as we talked about a little bit earlier on, the Zancho guys might be going for all the Aston Martin teams might try and group together on the same cars, but if you look at where Ferris Stanley and Arne Zumvliet especially are, then they will be starting to breathe heavily at this point, because they've already 3 Aston Martins. It's almost certain at this point that Zumvliet is going to have weight on that Aston Martin if he wants it, and Ferris Stanley might well end up having to put weight on that car as well. So that's not gone to plan for Zancho, if that is indeed their plan. We'll wait and see a little bit later on whether it was, but Aiden can't give us any intel, unfortunately. So
I can't. No, I legitimately do not know what they've picked. Because part of me, well, I'd say that it's mostly me not doing my homework, but also I want to have the surprise of seeing what's come up. So Ed Trevelyan Johnson's been messaging me on Discord. He's like, "Don't give away too much." Like, I literally have no clue as to what's going on. So I don't know what's going on anyway. My brain is scrambled as always. But I think there will be weight on at least 2 models of car because of people trying to avoid getting that C8. I think that's just my amateur opinion on things.
Let's see what Matt Richards is picking for a Rocket Sim Sport. Basically a satellite team of Sancho. I would say it's another Aston Martin GTE, which makes it 4 by now. Means there's only 1 left before we head into weight. As in 10 kilograms on the 6th pick. So that's a very interesting one. The Aston Martin's the hot sell, basically, for now in our draft. And I have to say, I was expecting everyone to jump on the Ferrari first. Kinda. I don't know why. It just felt like it.
I don't think people are liking the Ferrari either. I haven't seen anybody saying that, actually, I might take the Ferrari. So I think the Ferrari and the C8 are going to be the least favoured picks. Maybe also the Porsche. But yeah, it's a lot of people are going for that Aston or the C7R at the minute. I think the C7R might be the second choice for a lot of people. BMW, they might be trying to avoid knowing that there's teams like Redline and Williams that will need to take that anyway, and things like that. But yeah, we might have to see a few people reluctantly
have to pick it. Aiden,
which one?
BS Competition.
Yeah,
that's another of those teams that have a partnership with BMW.
There's only one BS driver in the draft, and that's Jonas Ravio. So I think what he picks might determine the fate of the BMW.
Yeah, I was going to say he might be a dark horse in the draft, because I know, from last season he was driving the Aston, and I wasn't aware of the tie with BMW. But if that is the case, yeah, that's going to be interesting for the later picks. If they maybe wanted to take the BMW, or he could really throw a spanner in the works and pick something completely left field and surprise all of us.
Next pick is Philippe Yalek, and there's also no Mahler Racing Team this time, so it's Williams Esports only. Let's see what they're going for.
Wow. Wasn't expecting that.
Great. Another Aston Martin. Okay, I was kind of leaning towards BMW due to the Williams Esports partnerships there, but we also know that they sometimes choose different cars. But yeah, that makes it 5 Aston Martin. So the next one is 10 kilograms. So Ibrahim Khan, if he wants the same car as his teammate Matt Richards, then he has to accept 10 kilograms. Although I have to say, with Ibrahim Khan's driving style, probably doesn't matter.
No, maybe not.
He's quick. Whatever comes.
Yes, that is true. Let's not forget he drove a C7R and the VEC as well for Zancho, so he might decide to go for that for a bit of familiarity. Maybe a Ferrari might suit him. Or,
if he picks the Ferrari, he's sacked.
Well, yeah.
Didn't he have the Ferrari in GT3? Did he not pick the 788?
Yeah, and he had the 720 for the relegation playoff fight, and he was like, "This car's so much better than the Ferrari." It's like, we told you.
Yeah, he won that one, of course, didn't he? So that's why he's here right now. The first 10 people, by the way, have all had some kind of interaction with GT Challenge last season, whether it be through the playoff race or indeed the 5 who got promoted straight off the bat. So we're getting towards the people who retained their GT Pro place in a few moments' time. But yeah, Ibrahim Khan's choice is a very interesting one, because he's kind of forced into either taking some weight on this Aston or going against what his Rocket Simsport teammate has done, which is an interesting call now.
Yeah, I'm thinking that he may try and avoid the weight, but we're about to find out as Ibrahim Khan for Rocket Simsport has taken. Oh, he's taken the Aston Martin. Okay, fair enough. Oh, this is. That's,
So what if everyone tested the Aston Martin with 20 kilograms and was like, that's still fine? And they all go
yeah, that's
Aston
probably an
Martin.
option as well. Yeah,
It might well be. Yeah, you're right.
I'd actually got Ibrahim down for the C7R.
Yeah,
Because that's what he drove in the VEC and was absolutely rapid in it. So I thought you might as well not change what's not broken, unless he's had his arm twisted by Nick Dealey and Ben Garlick into taking the same car as everybody else, so they only have to deal with one car and not two. So so Ibrahim Khan taking the C7R, and Risto Capit for R8G is the next one up.
Obviously, without his teammates, there's no other RAG driver left in GT Pro anymore. And Yovsky, obviously, when it was demoted directly, didn't make it into the relegation. Who else was in there? We had a few more RAGs, especially in season 2.
Al Sabti.
Yeah, Hani Al Sabti also relegated directly. I think he was unable to drive last season, which was a shame. He's a really quick and good driver. But he also picked a radical, went down immediately. Who we forgot? Yuri Kastop, he's not with RAG anymore. He's Red Bull Racing Esports. So he's further down the list.
Drove as an independent for most of last season before he joined Red Bull. Seems to be very happy over there as well. So it's that's worked out for him.
Did he finish the race? No, he finished the season with Red Bull Racing Esports.
Yeah, he did.
Right? Yeah. Now everyone out there in the chat is like, should I have chosen the Aston in my community league? Is there something I don't know?
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? I've got high expectations for this Aston Martin now, because by the way everyone's picking it, it seems to be fantastic, but we'll see.
RAG will find a way to pick a radical even if there isn't one. Risto Capit up next, and he picks the C7R. Yeah, there we go. That is the second.
I got that one right at least.
Really? You got a point?
Yeah.
Should we clap?
1 point to Aiden. Yeah.
1 point to me.
I think even I managed to get that one. I'm not quite sure why I put him in that. But another Callaway, another C7R Corvette, and what we got? Kevin Rotting up next, and I've got him in the Ferrari. I feel like that was a bad call.
I would love to see the first Ferrari pick, but I'm not sure if Kevin Rotting will pick it. So let's go through it once. I mean, we got a lot of time this time, but Paul, first pick. What's Kevin Rotting going for?
I'm going to stick to my guns and say Ferrari.
Ewan?
I think we saw a couple of BMWs early on, but I think it's going to return now for Kevin Ryan. I think he's going to go for the BMW.
Yeah, I think I'm also going to go for BMW because I think he drove that while he was at AAA. And he was at AAA last season. He's now at BHK, so I think he might take the BMW on this occasion, but could see a Ferrari as well. So I'm sort of 50-50 between Ewan and Paul for that one. For see what he's going to take.
All right, I'll say he picks the C8. By the way, C8R.
I could probably take a guess at what Kevin Siggy's going to choose, given his team name. I might be able to figure that one out.
That does not count if you get that right. It does not count.
No. Yeah. That's thankfully that he's the only one with his car selection in his team name. So for the rest of us, we're going to be on the edge of our seat. But yeah, no prizes for guessing Kevin Siggy's, I guess.
Now, let's see. That's also the first entry by BHK Esports by TX3, by the way, this season. Let's say Kevin Rotting picking the C7R. Okay. There we go. Not even a C8, nor a BMW or a Ferrari. Look at the beautiful vote we get now. What will Kevin Siggy pick? Aston, Corvette, Ferrari, or Porsche? Everyone vote for Porsche.
For GT.
Or GT, it could be another one.
Exclusively revealed. How many C7s is that now? That's
that was C7 number 3.
Oh, okay, so not that many then.
No, two.
Sorry.
No, 3. We got
Three.
3 now.
Yeah, we're right the first time.
Sorry,
We can't
next pick is 4.
we can't count.
Yeah, we
No.
can't count. Now, next pick is 4, and then the 5th pick obviously adds 10 kilograms. So one other driver can pick the C7R without a penalty. It won't be Kevin Siggy, although it would be hilarious if BMW Team Redline picks something else.
It would be, yeah.
Wait, we got Nikolai Biznevsky, which is second Williams Esports driver to pick. They used an Aston Martin, but they can't have that without the 20 kilograms. And then we got both Butler Power Motorsport drivers in a row.
And what have they picked?
I mean, we now took part in 3 different GTP seasons, and in every season, we picked the car the driver moaned the most about. So it's a high chance that I see these guys picking it again. I didn't ask them before the show, because I was absolutely sure I know how this ends, so...
One of them's going to pick a Porsche, and I think
Yes.
it's going to be Ziggy.
Just wait for Shara realizing, wait, there isn't a Bentley this time. I'll pick that.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be blatantly obvious what Kevin's picking, but we'll find out in just under 5 seconds. So prepare to be pretend to be shocked. Prepare to pretend to be shocked. There we go. As the BMW Team Redline picks, shocker, BMW M8 GTE.
Part of me was hoping he would just choose something different, just to be funny, but no. Obviously, he's taking it seriously, and BMW, but
It's
it can't be a
even in
bad
the
choice.
logo.
Yeah, yeah.
I bet Ruben, our director, was probably thinking about putting another video up, and that was then afraid of what that means in the partnership, and if he gets blamed if he puts a different car in. So that's the BMW for Kevin Siggy, which means Nikolai Biznevsky is up next. Biznevsky drove a BMW previously as part of the Team GB, Team UK? No, Team GB.
BMW Team GB, yeah.
Yeah. So he could have picked a BMW. There's still a free one if he wants to. While there isn't a free Aston Martin that his teammate picked. So, by the way, the vote for Kevin Siggy set at 29% Aston or 29% Porsche. So it seems like Kevin Siggy just chose the wrong thing.
Well, yeah.
He picked the one that wasn't on the poll.
Yeah, he's out.
He's done.
Yes, it's reverse championship positions from last season, obviously mixed with the relegation drivers and direct promotion drivers from GT Challenge. That's why it's not entirely last season's result.
So the next driver is Biznevsky. I think he did drive a BMW at some point in the VEC, but he's mainly driven prototypes and things like that in other seasons in the VEC as well. So I mean, I could see him taking the BMW, but I think he might join Briliac with the Aston Martin and just cop the 20 kilos. But here it is. Nikolai Biznevsky for Williams Esports has taken. Oh, what? Okay.
Wait.
Wow.
All right. That
Right.
was a real surprise. Now.
That is left field.
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's nowhere near picking something similar to his teammate. I mean, that's not even front engine. So
The only thing they've got in common is that they're German.
yeah, and then
No, wait, because he's taken the Aston Martin.
Martin's UK.
It's because I've got BMW down on the prediction, and I'm still functioning on. Yeah, ignore me. I'm still functioning on last season.
Oh wait, that's crazy. Wait, Porsches. So Payopath, who drove Porsches in the previous 3 seasons, can still pick it without any additional weight. Shara could pick it because I think Shara only disliked, and it's obviously stuff I hear from the team since it's my team, but as far as I know, he only disliked the GT3, not the GTE. So it could be 2 straight Porsche picks, and then make it a 3 basically, and then Porsche wins because they're the first one to fill an entire row. That's bonus points. 10 bonus points starting into the season.
It's a bit
Game
like
of Connect 3. Oh, Connect 4.
noughts and crosses.
Connect 4 is not impossible.
Yeah, that's mad. I'm sure that he'll. I mean, we're expecting Porsches at some point from Butler Pal, but I think there might be. So like, who would want to take an Aston Martin at this point now that it's going to be bumped up to 20k?
Well, someone has decided. Well, Ibrahim Khan has decided to take it at 10 kilograms. I mean, it can't be that much worse. We had some bigger weight last season for.
Yeah, I think it's. I
some
mean,
people.
just as a reference, Jan van der Heide won in a McLaren with 10 kilos of weight on board. That the highest place with 20 kilos was sort of mid to back of the packs, and then obviously the 40k ones got absolutely annihilated. But here is Peo Pev's pick, all the P's, and it's Porsche.
Peo picks.
Peo Pev picked a peckled peppers, or whatever the Peter Piper thing.
There we go. I mean, it looks great in our livery, so I absolutely agree. Picking a Porsche here, I like that. By the way, last season in the very first draft, we had the same with the Porsche because it was Yuri Castro, I think, throwing a curveball and picking the Porsche as well, while we expected no one to pick the car besides Peo.
Yeah, we saw with that one because there was more weight put on. I mean, I've just been corrected that Jan van der Heide actually had 20 kilos for most of the season, then it was dropped down. I think Yuri took that to have a car without weight rather than taking a favoured car with weight because he knew how much the performance deficit would be. And then obviously you got Kevin Siggy, who ended up with 40 at the start of the season. So we might actually see this at some point during the rest of the pick if some of these teams like Red Bull, for instance, you've got Alex Sable, Dennis Jordan, and Yuri Kazdorp all within sort of in the same group as each other, which is separated by Michi Hoyer, pick number 27. If they may club together and pick a car to stop, say, Michi or Jan taking a car with less, well, taking a car with no weight and having to be pushed into an unfavoured car or something like that. So that's something we could see with this. So it might be a bit of strategy behind that. And also we saw on Twitter with Dennis Jordan's spreadsheet of life, where he basically predicted every single pick and then working out around what to do in case things go a certain way. But Red Bull aren't tied to a particular brand. I mean, it's a shame they're not in GT3s because there's so many Red Bull Mercedes jokes you can make at this point. But yeah, it's to see what will happen around there and see what Jan van der Heide ends up with at the end will be pretty interesting, as the next pick is here. It's, speaking of Shara, and he's also taken the Porsche. So we've got our Connect 3.
There we go. We won. I mean,
Stop the count. We're done.
I think that's good because we're obviously kind of the underdog team in this. I like that they this time go for the same car. Makes it a bit easier. Last time with the Bentley and the Porsche, and weirdly enough, we only had been competitive in just one track, and one with the Porsche we won the sprint race, I think, and with the Bentley we won the main race. And that was the only event where we went really high into the points.
Was that Sebring?
Was that Sebring? Could be. It's like, that the GT3 Porsche is basically limited to a few tracks where it can do good, right? Last season. Imola was one of them. Sebring is another one. So it could have been Sebring, yeah. Well, that means we're now tight with the BMW M8 in terms of pick numbers. Yeah,
we are. 3 Porsches, 3 BMs, 3 C7s as well. I haven't been ticking these off. I've really not done my job here. And then we've also got the 5 Astons, which seems to be the more popular. Ferris Stanley had a Ferrari last season in the GT3. I doubt he's going to be picking that again. Well, he won't be because he can't pick a GT3. But I mean, the GT3.
Yeah, I mean, it's been in the Corvette before as well, in a GT3 again. But I think this is a very interesting pick now because does he follow his teammate but also take that 20 kilograms or not? I think it's going to be a good kind of marker for us to see how desperate these guys are to actually follow their teammates in terms of their weight. So yeah, a very telling pick coming up here, I think, from Ferris Stanley.
Yeah, not only that, but it might show how comfortable they are taking it with that 20k on as well.
We're about to find out.
Ferris Stanley for Suntra Supersport picking the Aston Martin Vantage GTE. Mains is the first driver to decide to go for 20 kilograms of extra weight. Can be his grocery, what's in the car, or whatever he wants to take with him, as long as it's 20 kilograms.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I'm really expecting massive things from this Aston Martin now in the races because it seems to be really, really popular. We weren't expecting it, certainly, but you'd think by the way that these guys are going for it, it would be, a really fast car. So we'll wait and see if that does come to fruition or not. But it's very, very in demand at the moment. It can't get any more weight than the 20 kilograms, by the way. So pick 7 on upwards is always going to be 20 kilograms from now on. So there's no more weight to add for that, Aston. If Ferris Stanley's happy to take it, then I think a good deal more of these guys further down will be happy to take it. So we could well end up with half the field in an Aston at this rate.
Yeah, it just goes to show how picky sim racers can be if they're willing to take a favoured car with that much weight on board, as opposed to taking a less favoured car with zero weight. I mean, I think the only car we didn't have in Pro last season was the Mercedes AMG GT3. So people would rather have taken the Radical over a Mercedes. I think it would have been Biznevsky, wouldn't it? He would have got weight on his Radical, being the champion of the previous year, and he could have gone Mercedes with no weight or a Radical with weight, and he took the Radical. So
the Radical was without weight, Aiden. The Radicals were without. There are only 2 Radicals in the last race.
I'm sure he had weight on his Radical.
In his second pick already getting weight last season.
Yeah.
10 kilograms.
Yeah. I'm sure he did.
True.
Yeah,
it was a long time ago.
I
got ill halfway through the season, remember?
Another BMW M8 GTE for Luca Di Amelio, the ex-HM engineering driver, now with BHK by TX3. Virtual drives, that's I think the entire team. TX3 obviously a team I know from the past, actually. I think I saw them winning championships in the Forza Racing Championship, and that happened in the Esports World Rally Championship as well. Now they're with us here in the rFactor 2 GT Pro Championship. Well,
I'm going for what his teammate went for. Kevin Rotting went for the Corvette. Luca Di Amelio's gone for the BMW. I'm a bit surprised about that, but clearly they're not going to be helping each other throughout the season very much.
When you're racing for money, I don't think that teammate applies, does it? It's just like, I want that prize money, and I'm going for it. It's not like Formula Pro where we've got the teams championship and like the constructors championship, if you will, where there's big prize money on offer. But it's very much an individual thing. I think everybody's just going for their own glory over the teams. But be interesting to see if they do give each other a toe in certain races, especially with the first race being at Monza, where that top speed is key.
Jordy Swears up next. Jordy, at one point the John Lazy Esports guys happened in a Ferrari, I think.
Yeah, because it's John Lazy, isn't he? He loves Ferraris.
Yeah.
Season 2. That was the season he won, actually, for GT Challenge. He was in a Ferrari. And but the thing is, the interesting thing, I think, with Jordy is the fact that he's gone for 3 different cars so far. So, it's who knows, really. He probably didn't know when he started this. Oh, he might have had a rough idea, obviously, but obviously things have changed. I'm prepared to be shocked by this, to be honest, given his previous choices.
Watch as he picks a Porsche.
My predictions had him in an Aston.
With 20 kilograms, I mean, he could follow.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jordy Swears for John Lazy Esports, picking a Porsche 911 RSR. Wow, gets way more picks than in the GT3 category, that's for sure.
Called it.
Which also means, guys, that we have... Oh, wait, I'm not commentating on the GT Pro Series. I'm lucky there, because these cars, like I heard them... I was in Le Mans 2019, 18. I'm not quite sure. When they brought the new RSR Porsche, and 1 is nice, sounds amazing. 2 of them is killing you, and 3 make sure that your white shirt is red from all the blood that you lost. So,
imagine what that Mazda was like.
Yeah, the 787.
That was... I mean, I jokingly said, watch as he picks a Porsche, and then he goes and does it, the mad lad. So, yeah, Jordy Swears, I mean, he's a guy who knows what he's doing. Nuno Pinto for Team Fordzilla is one that I haven't got down on my list here. We're at pick number 19 of 30, so we're nearly 2/3 of the way through. I mean, what have we got him down for? Because it could be anything at this point.
got him down for a surprise, to be honest. I don't know either at this point, because he's another one of those who's gone for something different many a time. He has been in the Corvette in GT Pro in Season 2, but obviously I guess talking about their GT3 choices doesn't even matter at this point, just looking for something to maybe go off to try and predict these, but it's really impossible because the GTEs are, as you can imagine, remarkably different to the GT3s, so it's very difficult to make a prediction.
I'm just saying that if Nuno Pinto is not picking the Porsche, that would allow Kasper Stolzer to pick the last one without white to have the same car as his teammate.
Is Pinto going to spoil that party though? Yes.
Wow.
There we go. Last free Porsche goes to Nuno Pinto.
Sometimes I wonder if for the next draft it would be cool to have, like, you guys know the movie Draft Day? No, it's a movie about how it looks at the football teams when it's draft day, and how many deals are done in the background, and when they are up for picking, how much stuff they go through and decide on which player they want, right? And I wonder one day if we can have that live, seeing them, because I wonder if Nuno Pinto was on a Porsche previously, or if he adjusted his pick now due to what happened, right? Because they can do that. So I think at one point that would be nice to see.
Yeah, I'm just seeing in the chat now they're calling it the Fordsha, because Fordzilla picking
Team
the Porsche.
Fordzilla.
But yeah, Kasper Stolzer probably. I mean, we're now into weight territory for obviously for the Aston and for the Porsche now. So we're so some of these drivers are going to be sweating over what they might have wanted to have picked. But I mean, the Porsche has been popular in the GTE stuff before. And like you say, Renee makes a cracking noise. So it'd be great to hear like the scream of that going down the straights at places like Monza and maybe around the back end of Spa and things like that. But still no C8Rs and still no Ferraris. And with all these B-roll bits at Monza as well and no Ferraris, it's almost sacrilegious to an extent. But I think we may see one Ferrari and that will be it. Sort of the token Ferrari, and probably not see any C8Rs at all. But we're still on course for that prediction of at least 2 models of car having weight applied. So that's gone with the prediction there. But who have we got next? It's like I said, Kasper Stolzer for Jaser. Maybe he'll follow his teammate. Maybe he'll take a C7R. Let's find out.
Yeah, Kasper Stolzer, the second John Lazy Esports pick, goes for the Chevrolet Corvette C7R. And we had quite a few of those already early in the pick, and that means, by the way, that there is still a BMW up for grabs. Although it was super popular in the very first picks today, it's still without weight, giving a chance to BS competition to pick a BMW without weight, which I did not expect after seeing BMWs being picked that early. And that was also, no, it was not the last C7R Corvette, so that's also still it.
Yeah.
Something like Jonas Ravia for BS Plus competition. I mean, I've got him down as an Aston because he took that last season for the GT3.
It will be a BMW, I'm sure. I know the team owners. Yeah. I'm sure it is a BMW.
Jonas is also a very, 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 very picky driver. So he's probably already made his mind up and he's going to take whatever comes, whether it's got weight or not. So if it is an Aston with 20 key on board, maybe, but if it is a BMW, you can take that with no weight. And it's going to be interesting to see what that reveals in the next 40 seconds.
I saw a tweet from him a little bit earlier on. He was talking about this pro draft business being a bit of a lottery, and it's basically just pulling your ticket really as to whether you're going to fight for the championship or not. And he also put in right at the end, and I don't know how much we can read into it, but he said something. Well, I'll read it out properly. He said, "Is it going to be 0 kilograms ballast or perhaps 20 kilograms?" Suggesting to me that he's already made his mind up, and he's just here to find out how much weight is going to be on his car, and that seems to line up with everything you said about him being picky as a driver there, Aidan.
Will be a BMW. For sure.
We're about to
Since
find
he's
out.
not going to be pleased if it is, because I'd imagine he wants
Go on,
one,
pick
but
the
we'll
Aston.
see.
There's a BMW. Okay. So he's got no weight on that.
Yeah, you got lucky. I was brilliant, seeing the BMWs being picked that early. I wasn't even sure if Kevin Sickie gets one without weight.
The BMW has been out of favour in the Virtual Endurance Championship over the last season. Like, virtually everybody had a C7R at that point. You know, the ones who are traditionally Porsche drivers took the Porsches, and then, you know, obviously the Sim Racing for Holland, which is you know, the big boss Marcel Offerman's team, took the C7R because, you know, he loves his Corvettes. But yeah, so to see this many BMWs after it's been out of favour in the last endurance season is surprising.
Yeah, very. I'm very surprised, but I'm also kind of surprised it was so out of favour in the VEC because Williams Esports were driving it with the likes of Kuba Brzezinski and Biznevsky as well, who was driving that car quite regularly. They won a couple of races. They won the Sebring race, definitely, the 1,000 miles of Sebring in GTE. So I was very surprised to see it so out of favour. But now we're coming to see something a little bit more expected, maybe. With the BMW getting picked quite regularly. Now it's got weight on, with still 9 people left to pick. I Brzezinski, maybe Simoncic as well as possible BMW guys. So we'll wait and see how many of them actually are. And if so, then there's going to be some cars with weight on out there.
Yeah, I mean, we'd say about I've got Brzezinski in a BMW as part of my predictions, but just looking at the ones we've had in the past as teammates, Biznevsky's in a Porsche. The Williams driver, Briljak, is in an Aston, so whether he's going to match one of those guys and then perhaps share some setups and that through the season, or if he's going to go for the BMW or Porsche or something.
Nicky Dem's picked the Porsche.
Yeah, Porsche and Aston, so you can either have 20 kilograms like his teammate and get a teammate car, or 10 kilograms on the Porsche. Let's see. Jakub Brzezinski, Williams Esports picking a Chevrolet Corvette C7R as well. Which means we're there yet. We've got 3 cars that have 10 kilogram minimum on the next pick, while the Aston's already at 20 kilograms on the next pick.
It's tricky now, isn't it? Really tricky.
Yeah.
For all of these guys.
Will someone take a C8R or a Ferrari to avoid the weight? It's some people are going to be forced.
I have watched a couple of GT races. Admittedly, this was kind of endurance based. So maybe over a long distance, maybe the Corvette C8 becomes a little bit more in favour. But yeah, I've watched C8 win a couple of endurance races at the very least in rFactor 2 around the place. So I'm not, well, I haven't driven it. I couldn't tell you why it's so unpopular with everyone at the moment. But you know, it's seemingly getting tricky now, and I'm a little bit surprised by it, I have to be honest.
Next up, it's Burst Esports' Jene Simoncic, who is 2 times FSR champion. He's on his way to becoming a 3-time FSR champion, back-to-back with that as well. He drove the C7R in the VEC. I think he also had a Callaway in the GTE 3E series that the Sim Racing Club put on last season. So he's very familiar with the GM product at the minute. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did take a C7R with weight, or maybe because we're now on to we're on to 10 kilos for the C7R now. So it might be worth taking that. But then that forces the hand of Michi Hoyer, who is pick number 27. He would have to take the 20 kilos if he wants to stay, share the data with Jene. But here we go. Jene Simoncic for Burst Esport. Wow. 488.
I am surprised about that. It's very surprising because, as you mentioned, Mrocek has taken that Corvette C7R. 10 kilograms in my eyes, anyway, not that much. So he's taken a bit of a gamble there. We'll see if it pays off. This is the kind of thing that the pro draft is designed to make people do. Just take a few risks, and obviously for some real top names like Ioski and Al Sabti have actually got demoted not mainly because of the draft, but also it kind of helped them certainly in the previous season. So prepare to see a few surprises in the final few picks, and then that affect things throughout the season. It's very interesting indeed.
Yeah,
I would still go with they did not relegate or drop out due to the car pick. I know that's always a huge
Are we still going? But at least chat's happy that they finally seen a Ferrari.
Someone with 20 kilograms was up front.
It's Ferrari's very popular brand. It's probably the most recognizable car brand in the world. So it's always going to pull in the crowd. So people very happy to see that at Monza as well. And we'll get to see that in the first round. And that Ferrari is going to look beautiful in that Burst Esports sort of black, orange, or black, gold, and white livery as well. So
and Michihara can pick one now as well without.
He can, yeah.
Yeah, so, there's even no chance to get that many Aston. Oh no, there is. If everyone would pick a Ferrari now, then Michihara would get weight. But it's very unlikely that all of a sudden everyone picks a Ferrari.
I think even Jan van der Heide would get sacked if he picked a Ferrari. So, Timotej Andonovski next up. C7R in the Virtual Endurance Championship. Will he take that again and take the weight, or will he take the C8R and see what that does for him? So here we are with Timotej Andonovski's, and he's also taking the Ferrari, so going for no weight on that.
Yeah. See how unfavourable it is, because it was not picked at all at the start. It wasn't bad in the Virtual Endurance Championship. After that's where I've seen most of it being driven, and it's not been bad, let's say, but certainly up in there in championship contention, etc. But seemingly not favourable for these guys in the Pro Series, which is obviously a lot shorter races. So well, I don't know. I'm very excited to get the season underway now, because it's kind of like waiting to see what the predictions mean for the season. But hopefully it does its job and closes everyone up, and we get a few unpredictable races throughout the year.
Yeah, the ballast is nowhere near as intrusive as it is in the touring car series that I race in. That I'm racing in on Wednesday night, where the leader of the championship going into race one of the evening has 75 kilos on board. So it's nowhere near as bad as that. So yeah, 20 kilos is manageable, but it's still going to cost you probably about 2.5 tenths a lap.
Everyone will pick Ferraris now, or BMW, Corvette, and Porsche, and then Jan van der Heide will be the only pick on a C8R.
Just do it for the memes.
Will become back-to-back champion in the C8R.
Absolute scenes if he does.
There we go. If he does that, and if he gets the championship, then hell yeah, I'll get him a prize for that.
Yeah, that would be pretty amazing. But very interesting again for Schoenvliet, whether he's going to follow his teammates into the Aston Martin as well. But he's going to have to take 20 kilograms, of course, as well. He's won the most recent GT Pro race. He won the very last race of last season, so he's still the reigning race winner, if you want to call him that. And we'll see what car pick he's going to do now.
It's going to be the Aston.
I've
literally just had Ed Trevelyan and Johnson message me, written in like alternate little and big letters. So which one will Schoenvliet pick? Ooh, and it's like, yeah, it's big the Aston. So Arne Schoenvliet has recently switched to Zancho from Madeira, fitting in very well, doing the Formula Challenge Series on top of this. So he's getting around, getting used to things. And very, very fast driver in tin top, so I don't think that 20 kilos of weight on that Aston will hold him back that much.
No, and of course that does open now. As we were saying earlier, Michihara can now take that Ferrari with no weight on it, even if Yuri Kasdorp does pick it as the next pick. So he can follow his teammate on a ballastless Ferrari if that was the route he wanted to go down. Of course, Yuri Kasdorp's going to pick first.
Will Yuri pick a Porsche again?
Yeah, maybe. New Red Bull Racing Esports recruit, let's not forget. It was, he's, as you mentioned at the top of the programme, Aidan seems to be settling in quite well. And it might set the precedent for what Siebel and Jordan are going to pick. But also, you don't get as much flexibility when you're at this end of the order, really. You can't really kind of fabricate it in that way. You can't really coordinate it in the same way that some guys up front, like the Varga boys, for example, have done further up the order. So, we'll wait and see what Kasdorp chooses. But he's had a very strong ending to last season. He's certainly in form. Got 5th place last season overall in the points, and was driving very well towards the end of the season. So, getting to grips with those GT3s. He'll try and get to grips with these GTs on this occasion. We'll see what car he's going to be getting to grips with.
Yeah, he's he left R8G in bizarre circumstances, and then drove as an Indy driver. And now, also Red Bull.
Yes!
Oh yes, finally we got the C8R, and I'm sure that there is some memery in the background for that pick. But Yuri, a very, very good driver, very, very fast driver, very, very tall driver. If you've ever met him as well, he's like 9 feet tall. But to pick that car, he obviously knows something that us normies don't.
What if the entire Red Bull Racing Esports team picks C8R because they believe that they can make it work with all their manpower, basically?
Possible.
It's true.
It's up for grabs. It's 0 kilograms, no matter what Michihaya is picking now. So they can all have the same car and just be like, you know what? We're testing a ton of this. We will figure out. It will be quick.
What if they only tested that knowing that they were going to be in the situation later on? So it's like there's no point in us picking the C7R because the VEC lot are going to pick that, and the early picks are going to pick that. Aston Martin, we know, I say we know, like Red Bull know, is going to be the best pick. So let's think it right. Let's just put all of our effort into the C8 and drive that instead, and maybe pick a Ferrari in there as well to develop that and get all the data we can. But Michihaya, I'd like to see if he joins Jerne Simoncic with the Burst Esports, and then actually the remaining 4 drivers, all German as well. So they really dominated last season in GT Pro,
right?
As they do with everything else in life,
except the football.
Really. Yeah. I wasn't going to mention it, but tensions have just become quite high. Never mind. I'll move it on. Michihaya, obviously GT Challenge winner, the first season that we had this GT Pro, GT Challenge kind of format on rFactor 2, and he took to it very, very well indeed. He's been getting better in the Pro Series as well, getting a race win in the last season. We'll see what car he's going to pick now. Follows Simoncic.
How many Ferraris is that? No, we've got our 3rd Ferrari.
Yeah. Well, it's a nice pick for Michihaya. I mean, it fits to his team then. They're on the same platform, so they can work together on the setup. Makes sense, right? It's a car without weight. Mid-engine.
Like the Audi was.
So I think it kind of fits Michihaya's style.
Yeah, certainly. I think that's going to be a good pick for him in the course of things. Just remains to be seen whether Simoncic and Hoyer can make that Ferrari really work, because clearly the 20-odd guys in front of him clearly couldn't or didn't see that was the right fit. So, and of course they're differing from their other teammate Dorad Mocek, who's going to be out on his own in the slightly more favoured Corvette C7. Interesting picks once again. We're moving on to Alex Siebel now, and Dennis Jordan in a few moments' time as well. These guys have got, as I'm sure you've seen on Twitter earlier on, Dennis Jordan anyway has got every single situation on Earth planned out, and he's got a car pick for every situation. So these guys taking it very seriously indeed.
Putting that master's degree to good use by the looks of things. So I mean, it would be weird if Siebel and Jordan both went against what Kasdorp's picked with the C8R. So expect 2 more C8Rs, and then Van der Heide to just go, oh, what? And then just pick the Aston. So we're seeing the rest.
You sure he will go for an Aston Martin with 20 kilograms? Like first.
Yes, because Nick will kill him.
You sound like a really harsh team. I mean, I didn't know anyone. Although I knew they will pick the Porsche GT3 back then, and then they will moan the entire season.
I had a full head of hair when I joined Zanjo.
Mine wasn't great before I actually started working on this. There we go. The pick of the second Red Bull Racing Esports driver with the name of Alex Siebel, picking the Chevrolet Corvette C8R. So that was basically what we predicted. So it could be the case that Red Bull Racing Esports was constantly flying towards this C8R, prepping it, trying to figure out if it's quick enough. Because it's sprint distances, it's not VEC.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, maybe it works very well over a sprint race, yeah. And also, we've got to make a point here while we're on the subject of the racing, is that the fuel tanks have been shrunk. So they have to pit in the feature race for fuel. So maybe, like you say, that C8R works phenomenally well on light fuel loads and basically hot lapping for 15, 20 minutes or so.
I'm very glad about that addition to the series, by the way. Just that little tiny element of strategy into the feature race with the slightly smaller fuel tanks, and that may be a small factor in what these guys have chosen here today, but I somewhat doubt it. I guess there's not much point in wondering what's going to happen for the next 45 seconds, because we're pretty sure Dennis Jordan's going to go for the C8R, but you never know, he might go something left wing, although I highly doubt it. He's, of course, a 2-time Pro Series race winner, and there's no reason why he can't go one better than last year and maybe take the title in Season 4.
Yeah, I still say with a pick like a C8R, Red Bull does everything right if all of their drivers pick it. If they find something in the setup, they are the only ones then that can race with this car, right? And as Aiden already pointed out, they shrunk the tanks. The entire format changed of GT Pro Series. Maybe they figured it out, and then they can really show that.
Lots of complicated calculations going on behind the scenes, certainly, to make this one work. But don't expect any surprises here for Red Bull. It's the Corvette C8R for the third time today being picked by Dennis Jordan. So now the attention turns to the reigning champion Jan van der Heide. What is he going to go for? But I really couldn't even take a stab in the dark at this point. Is he going to pick the Aston Martin with 20 kilograms like we said a few minutes ago, or is he going to go for something a little bit left field? To try and get no weight, we'll have to see. But certainly would have wanted that Aston Martin with no weight on. There's no doubt about that. But when you're the series champion, you don't get much choice. Yeah,
you've got Stanley, Schoenfeld, and assuming Van der Heide on 20 kilos in that Aston. But if there's one thing that Zantra can do, it will make that work. They're very good at taking a car that maybe not the best, but making it good, extracting all they can from it. So, just because it's got 20 kilos of weight on board doesn't mean it's going to be right at the back every single race. So they will get that sort of mid to top of pack with that weight on.
Even if Ian has to do the setup himself.
No bias. Absolutely none whatsoever.
No. We've already got two 20-kilogram Aston Martins on the grid already, by the way, which would be the 9th Aston Martin. 1/3 of the field very nearly would be Aston's if Van der Heide goes for it here. But you never know. It could be something completely different. We've got about 15 seconds to find out for the reigning champ.
Picks a Ferrari. We'll pick a Ferrari.
Yeah, I had him in something with the engine towards the back, so yeah, Ferrari would line with my prediction. But especially with no weight as well.
Let's see.
Yeah,
so,
get another Connect 3 going.
Jan van der Heide, Rocket Sim Sport takes the Aston Martin Vantage GTE, decides for 20 kilograms. That they can't stop him, even with 20 kilograms on it. For next season, Season 4 of the GT Pro Series powered by Traction.gg. And with that, Aiden does not have to run out of the stream and get Jan van der Heide fired from the team. Instead, he's still allowed to stay. That's good. That's good news, I would say.
Well, the bromance between Ed and Jan is it is delightful to watch. So I don't think he would have got fired. But that is the draft. And there we go. Look at all those wings. That's a lot of Aston Martins, as you say, Renee. And we've got the three Porsches in there, and then the C8Rs as well. So I think that C8R is going to be brilliant to watch over the course of the season. That will bring you starting sort of from next week with the first round at Monza. Not very good in a straight line, apparently, which again at Monza is almost a death sentence. But those three lads, they'll get that thing working.
It's not the only car that's not super quick on the straights, right? So will be interesting in Monza, that's for sure. And I'm super happy that I can sit down and watch the race this time. So I'm only on BMW Sim Cup duty. I'm not doing the Pro Series, which means I'll just sit here and cheer for my team and finally be as biased as Aiden is normally.
Hi.
Sounds good to me.
Yes, that's it. I'm sorry, just one more thing. I'm a little bit surprised by the lack of lack of cars with weight. There's only 3 out of 30 with actual weight in this. Sorry, 4. I was not counted properly. 4 cars with weight on the grid, which is really not very much at all. This one was expecting a little bit more. I agree with Aidan that at least 2 of the cars are going to end up with weight. Even though it's only 10 and 20 kilograms, people really want to avoid it.
Yeah, that's. I mean, the way that the drafters works, obviously we've got 6 cars to pick from. We've got 30 drivers. In theory, it would be 5 of each in an ideal world, but still, we've got every single car represented, as opposed to only 12 of the 13 represented last season. So we've definitely got. Obviously, the memes are going to start with it being the Aston Cup, but we've still got all 6 cars represented with each brand represented by at least 3 cars. So we've definitely got the spread. We've definitely had what the draft was designed to do, and it's also given us the opportunity to see how good these drivers really are with those ones who are carrying weight as well, like Von der Heide and there we go, thank you, Ruben, so Von der Heide with 20, Scomfleet with 20, Stanley with 20, Ibrahim with 10, and there's a couple of others in there as well. So my eyes are failing me at the minute, but we've still got some cars there with weight on as well. So yeah, it's going to be great to watch. With, I think it's actually only the Astons that have got the weight on, isn't it? So
it's only Astons. Yeah,
it's only Astons. So yeah,
talk about it's like it's a bit weird, right?
So there must be something with that Aston that people are going to go, yeah, I'll take that with 20 key on board. It's going to be fine. So it must really be a favoured car to want to do that. But like I say, that C8R, that Ferrari as well is going to be interesting to watch, and the BMWs. I mean, the whole thing's going to be interesting to watch. So stick around for the first round at Monza next week or so.
It's not directly next week, but
because it's Formula Challenge next week, isn't it?
Yes.
Formula Pro
and Challenge.
Yeah, challenges on Fridays. What I want to say with the weight is, like, normally, drivers are a lot about, like, oh, you can't drive this with 10 kilograms and the BOP is off, but this time everyone is without kilograms besides Aston. But you said, oh, could be that the car is that great, but we also have to consider that the Astons were only picked by teammates. So it could be that they were purely picked on staying with the team in terms of setup work. And there's not a single driver in between here that isn't Sancho or Rocket that picked the car with weight.
Very good point, actually. I didn't quite notice that, but yeah, you're right. That clearly those guys were more desperate to stay with their teammates than others. For example, Simoncic wasn't really interested with staying with Mrocek's C7, decided to go for the Ferrari because didn't want 10 kilograms on the car. So I'm a little bit surprised by how valued people have put the having no weight in the car, and people have decided not to follow their teammates. That's a big surprise to me, but it's clearly these guys are coming with a plan, and they've gone for what they think is best at this point, and it's seems to be for a lot of these guys going for what your teammate is, because in a normal season, let's not forget, if you just had a normal pick, teammates almost always go for the same car, don't they? And sometimes they're required to. So that's the normal way to work things. So I guess it's not surprising to see lots of teammates in the same car, and will no doubt be assisting each other wherever they can behind the scenes.
It's probably easier for the engineers as well to just focus on one car and the characteristics of one car with weight than it is to have one guy in an Aston, one guy in a Porsche, one guy in a Ferrari, where you've got 3 totally different cars. So to have everybody in the same team, yes, some of the drivers are going to be handicapped by having 10 kilos, 20 kilos on board, but at least they're all in the same car, so they can go, right, this car handles this way, with weight it does this, so we'll just tweak it to do that, and then go racing.
Yeah, that leads us to the end of the GT Pro Series draft show of Season 4, powered by Traction.gg, and the very first race is coming up 9th of August, so make sure to be ready when the best GT drivers return for also the best GT racing series out there. This season, GTE instead of GT3, you just saw the picks. It will be interesting for sure. We got a great commentary lineup for you as well, different to last season, so that will be cool, even for me to watch, right? So that's good. We'll return 9th of August, mark that down. There will also be GT Challenge, obviously. Not just that you have to live with just the Pro Series, so make sure to also get involved there. Qualify for GT Challenge, which is currently running right now, actually. or get involved as a viewer in the GT Pro Series powered by Direction.gg. Thanks Aidan Millward, Ewan O'Leary, and Paul Buckley for joining me on today's draft show. My name is Ronnie Butler, and I see you guys next time.